Here we go now, and let's give Mr. Dipoto credit. I know that it's easy to come on now. What the heck? I'll go babble with the idiot there on high heat. He comes on when they lose, too. So let's remember that. And the last time that Jerry came on, the Mariners were not in a situation where they won in 14 straight. 17-1 since his last appearance. Jerry, even you, the great optimist, couldn't have expected that. Welcome. Put it in the thumbnail for me. Let me hear.
This is absolutely what we expected. We're on a bit of a heater, and it's been a fun month here in Seattle. I think we've won 22 of 25 and 14 in a row. And so much has been built on our pitching. Our starting pitching has been rock steady, and our bullpen has been phenomenal. And this dates back really to the end of May. And the secret sauce for us has been we started getting some timely hits as opposed to earlier in the season when we were just stranding a lot of runners.
A lot of people have brought up the Angels scenario on that Sunday afternoon with the beanball thing, that maybe it sort of galvanized the Mariner team and brought you closer together. Is there some truth with that?
Could be. I've played on teams and been around teams that have experienced that type of moment. And, it certainly is the type of thing that can bring a team together when you feel like you've been attacked in some way. And perhaps it did. But this was a group of players that, frankly, that were already very close. And, right now they're playing incredibly well. They're having fun. And like we saw in 2021, this group, when they're playing for each other like they are right now, they're so fun to watch. And right now we're in that groove.
And 2 games in San Diego. I know you played the A's and, some teams maybe aren't so good, Washington, but you went to San Diego against a playoff team when you were hot after you beat Oakland, and you won 2 games down there, and you won both games 6-2, 8-2. Here's the thing. They're playing better right now. Let's see how they do against San Diego on the road, and that's a team that you always played with interleague anyway, and you bashed them twice. I thought that was significant. Let's get your take on that.
I think they're one of the most talented teams we've seen, and that dates back to 2020. And we've seen the Pods in spring training up close and personal, super talented, very athletic. And I do think that was a bit of a statement for our guys. And then the big 4-game sweep at home against the Blue Jays. It's hard to sweep anyone in a 4-game series, especially a team as good as the Jays, and in an environment that, because we tend to fill the place when the Blue Jays are in town, felt very much like a playoff environment. So you can't replicate that in July. And, those types of dramatic and energetic wins that we achieved against those teams really got this team moving in the right direction.
And I'll tell you what was energetic. I mean, if you lost one of those games to Texas, you can live with it. You trailed 5-1 in one of the games, whatever number it was with the streak. You got 2 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th and won the game. That's a game, you know what? We're going to lose eventually, so we lose 5-1. We'll move on. But you won the game, and then you turned out sweeping Texas, who had been playing pretty well. That was a very significant win, Jerry. Let me get your take on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah. I had the sense going into that series with the Rangers that there was a potential for a fall down, where you just let up off the gas, and we came off of a really emotional sweep with the Jays, and we went into Texas riding so high that's usually when you're expecting one of the days to go flat. And our guys just started grinding, and they did. They came back in that first game, and they really put it down. And I have to give them a ton of credit. And now as we come out of the break, it's as hot as we've ever been. We are nearing being as healthy as we've ever been. And we head into the trade deadline, as I've said here locally, with our destiny in our own hands, which is something that's been rare over the last couple of decades for us.
You said 2 things that we can piggyback on. One is Haniger and even Lewis. Are we going to get these 2 players back soon? How about that?
Kyle, very soon. Our expectation is that Kyle will be back in the fold on Friday when we open up against the Astros. And barring the unforeseen, Mitch will start a rehab assignment right about that same time. So while I can't give you an exact number of days for Mitch, as soon as he feels comfortable with his rhythm and timing, he'll be back in the outfield for us here in Seattle.
All right, Dutch. The second thing now is the trade for Santana. Money an issue there, so I'm sure you helped. And he's been, and we all know he's dangerous, but he hasn't hit for the high average. But boy, he's paid his due already with those 2 big hits in big spots for your team there in the last week or so. How about the move to get Santana from Kansas City?
I mean, big move for us at the time, and it kind of flew under the radar. Ty France experienced an injury in a game with the A's in Oakland, and we didn't know how long Ty was going to be out. Could be 3 weeks, could have been 3 months for what we knew at the time. And, we knew Carlos was available. We quickly got in touch with the Royals, and we put something together. Actually finished that deal the same day we got in the brawl with the Angels. And Carlos came over, and it's not just been the fact that he's hit. I think he's near an 800 OPS since he joined the club. A couple of big hits, like you mentioned, but it's really what he brought to the clubhouse. He's such a resource in the clubhouse. His experiences, his calm, and one of the things that Carlos kind of pushed was what you see in our post-game celebrations. It's just have fun. It's really hard to win in the big leagues, and right now our guys are experiencing winning like they may never experience in their careers. 14 in a row doesn't happen very often, and Carlos has encouraged the guys, hey, have fun with it, and the guys are. And I think that's, for such a young team, that really, the energy breeds more energy, and Carlos has been a big part of that.
All right, now listen, you're not going to catch the Astros. You got a lot of games with them, but you made trades last year. I can see you doing something else too, long playoff drought. You got a good chance because the American League East maybe cannibalizes each other, and you're, of course, has an opportunity in your division. You will be active. What is the team? I don't watch them every day, Jerry. You do. What is this team? Where is there a need right now that maybe you can fill in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I do think first of all, I think we can catch the Astros as long as we don't lose again. And that's what we're doing over these last couple of weeks. But in reality, our team is pretty well built out with the returns of Lewis and Haniger. I think that in addition to Julio Rodriguez and what's now, a back to his normal self version of Jesse Winker, at each of the infield positions, we feel pretty solid. And, what we'll look to do is add impact wherever that might be, and especially adding to the starting rotation. We've been fortunate to have 5 starters take all of their starts. And, we are trying to manage young George Kirby's innings. He's already at a career high. So we want to make sure that we have that added, starting pitching depth, but we'd rather it be impact than just depth. And if we can achieve that in the trade market, then we'll go for it.
Yankees and Astros, a lot of games next 20, but then after that, maybe it cools down as far as the schedule goes. Jerry, thank you very much. We'll keep in touch.